Well, staying on the issue of anti-Semitism, as I say, Jeremy Corbyn is due to meet Jewish leaders later on today. Mr Corbyn has been speaking the last few minutes. This is what he had to say.
We're having a meeting, a discussion. We'll listen very carefully to what we all have to say, make it absolutely clear we do not tolerate anti-Semitism in any form.
And beyond the words, is there anything you could do?
Well, we'll discuss with them the processes that we have in our party. Our new General Secretary is working very hard on the issue, and I've every confidence in Jenny Formby.
It's a sorry state that you're having to have this meeting at all, isn't it?
I've met them before, and no doubt we'll be meeting them again, because I do reach out to all communities and have meetings with all organisations all the time.
These concerns are genuine, though. They're the last thing you'd want to hear.
We have to deal with anti-Semitism in our society, including in the Labour Party and the Labour movement, and that is exactly what we're doing.
Any sort of breakthrough this evening?
Listen, it's not a question of breakthrough, it's a question of continuing the work all the time to deal with racism and discrimination in our society and say that we're not prepared to accept anti-Semitism in any form. Diane made that very clear on behalf of our party in the debate last week, as of course did Andrew Gwynn.
For many it comes down to individual cases.
Individual cases are being dealt with by a party process, and everyone will of course get a fair hearing. I cannot therefore comment on individual cases.
Is it a cause, lastly, of pain or distress to you that we're having to have this conversation?
I am determined to defeat racism in any form in our society. That obviously means defeating anti-Semitism in any form in our society, and I will have that discussion with anybody that's necessary to have that discussion with in order to bring about that solution. Thank you very much.
Well, let's bring in Gideon Falter, who's the chairman of the Campaign Against Anti-Semitism. He joins us from our Westminster studio. Gideon, thanks for joining us this afternoon. Does Mr Corbyn's words there fill you with confidence?
No, not at all. If you look at the political language that Jeremy Corbyn is using, it's exactly consistent with what he's been saying for 3 years now, which is that anti-Semitism is a general problem in society. He stands firmly against it, and the problem within the Labour Party is not really anything much to worry about. It's a problem that all parties have, and it's a problem with all types of racism. But the facts tell us something very different, which is that the Labour Party has a disproportionate problem with anti-Semitism, very severe anti-Semitism, including amongst some of the people who hold office within the Labour Party. And what Jeremy Corbyn is telling us that he intends to reassure the Jewish community is just too little too late. He's had 3 years in which to do so. He launched the Chakrabarti inquiry into anti-Semitism, everyone will remember, which was an utter whitewash. That was really his opportunity to do something about this. And so going into this meeting now, of course, we'll be looking very carefully at what happens. But what we're very concerned about is that we are not seeing any evidence whatsoever that the Labour Party is about to start implementing fair, transparent and efficient disciplinary procedures. And the emphasis there has to be partly on the word transparent. Everything that happens within the Labour Party at the moment is done in secrecy. We don't know what the disciplinary outcomes are. And indeed, over the last 3 years, we've heard about thousands of cases of anti-Semitism which have been referred to the party. And yet we don't know what's happened in those cases. So how can we possibly be reassured, for example, without that becoming clear? One case in point is that we've actually filed a disciplinary complaint against Jeremy Corbyn himself. He's on the clip there saying that he has every confidence in Jenny Formby. That's probably because she has already rejected the disciplinary complaint against him, and the way in which she did so was, again, another insulting whitewash. So we need to be very careful about watching what Mr Corbyn does rather than listening to what he says, unfortunately.
Gideon, appreciate your time. Thank you. We are out.